Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of the Conversations in Rhythm podcast. I am your host, Larry Hudron Jr. Go ahead, hit the follow button. You also want to go ahead and look me up. Hit that link in my bio because you definitely want to follow the podcast on Spotify. You also want to follow the YouTube page, Larry Drum Music, because we're constantly posting things. I see people are coming in. Shout out to the homie Patrick. Shout out to the homie Tyrone. We have an incredible interview tonight with my brother, Alan Bartus. I'm really excited to talk with this gentleman. For those who don't know, he is the most recent semifinalist in the Herbie Hancock jazz piano competition. And the thing is, I didn't realize he was this young. He's in his early 20s and he's doing this thing, man, playing with all of the cats. In fact, this is him. Sarita, hey! That's my sister, y'all. Let me see if we can go ahead. This brother is doing his thing. And whenever I tell you, like, he's the truth on piano, if you haven't already heard of him, you got to check this dude out. He's swinging. I actually found out about, hey, she said hey to me. Hey, I saw, so I was at the Jazz Educators Network this year. It was in Atlanta. For those who know, it used to be the IAJE. I was doing my presentation, 100 Years of Black American Rhythm from Stomping and Clapping to Digital Grooves, which you need to check out. I'm going to be posting a smaller iteration of that on YouTube that you can follow along with. And in the process of doing my presentation, I was there the whole time. So I'm checking out all of these killing cats from different places. And so, yeah, Alan, I'm trying to bring you in. And this is the usual warfare I go through at the beginning where things are just really difficult. But there we
Hey,
there he
brother.
is. How you
How are
doing,
you?
man? Good to
What's up,
see you,
man?
sir. What's happening?
Good to see you also,
Yeah,
man.
man. I was just telling the people how we met. I was just about to tell them that I was on my way to the. Well, no, I had actually played earlier that night. I don't know if it was Friday. I think it was the Friday night jam
Oh,
session.
yeah,
But either way,
yeah. Oh, yeah, I
yeah,
wasn't there at that on Friday. Yeah.
exactly. Now here's the thing I want to say to Kat, right? Because I saw you earlier at the conference, and the thing about people, and this is everybody who's watching. This is an important lesson about the sartorial element of being a jazz musician. Whenever you whenever you dress professionally, it automatically puts a vibe about you like out, and people notice it. And so just by the way you were dressed, I could tell you could play. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I'm just keeping it hot. I was like, yeah. I was like, I see this brother. I was like, yo, he probably can play. So then I play the session, I leave, I come back, and I'm sitting in the back, and I'm hearing all of this piano. I'm like, yo, who the freak is that? And I look up, and it's you up there just dumping, man. So,
Oh, man, that's awesome.
um,
Thank you.
oh yeah, definitely, man. And it's so. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, man.
Of
I'm
course.
really excited to learn
My
more about
pleasure.
your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and your
Likewise.
artistry. So starting out, how do I pronounce the town that you're from?
Yeah. So actually, I'm from a country called Slovakia. It's like
Yes,
it's like east of the Europe, and my town where I was born is called Lučenec. It's
Lu- say it again,
Lučenec.
Lucha.
Yeah, Lučenec. It's a little bit hard to say it in English.
I dig. Yeah, and I'm country. Yeah, Luchinich. Okay, I can
Yeah,
see
that's
that
it.
because the stick.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's it.
Once I looked at it after hearing you say it, it makes sense. But my country tale, I was gonna say Lucinek. You know what I'm saying? So
Lucenex
yeah,
says everybody in the States. It's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So talk to me about what life is like.
Yeah, I mean, so I would say, I was raised in a musical family,
Yes.
so all of my
Your
family
pop,
were
right?
bass. Yeah, my pops is a bass player, and his father, my grandfather, is a violin player.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lot of musicians from father's side. They played like folk music, traditional gypsy folk music,
Mm-hmm.
classical music. And from my mother's side as well, there are some musicians. So it's like from the both parts of the family. I already, since I was a child, I already heard music all around me. And
Mm-hmm.
I think when I was 4 years old, or three, I think I was two. I was two when I touched the piano, but
Yeah.
I couldn't really play anything. But I started to play like for real when I was four, I would say,
Mhm.
and I started to go to the primary school. And the
Yeah.
thing is that I think me and my father, we are the first in our families that are doing jazz music.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's slick, huh?
And my father, he grew up with a lot of cats from my town. Slovakia is very small, but there is some cool cats.
Yeah.
There is a piano player that he grew up with. You know,
Uh,
His name is Claudius Kovac, and they started to play together to jam to Oscar Peterson, Night
yeah.
Train album when they were 14, 15. And that's eventually how my father got to jazz music. And of course, I did a lot of classical music
Uh-huh.
till I was 14, 15, or even
Yes.
16. I really didn't have a clue about the harmony, but I already observed a lot because I listened a lot of jazz
Hmm.
music, and I heard my father putting on records all the time, and he practiced at home all the time. And at one point of my life, I was like, I checked the Oscar Peterson trio, and I was like, man, I was so impressed by Oscar the way he swings. I was
Yeah.
impressed by the swing. And I was like, man, I gotta do this. I really wanna play jazz.
Yeah.
So I just went to my first jam session when I was 15, and I played,
Mhm.
a blues at the session, and there was something that really attracted me from right on that, this energy, what is happening on the stage within the musicians. And I thought to my dad, but daddy, I think I want to be a jazz musician. And he told me, oh, very good. Now you're already there. Lifetime struggle,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
your whole life
Yeah.
struggling, basically,
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right.
because it's not easy with jazz music,
Right.
as you know. But I dedicated my whole life to it, and eventually I got into all the other recordings, all the other pianists like Herbie Hancock, Chick Corea, Keith Jarrett, and my favorite Kenny Kirkland, you
Yeah.
know. And yeah, so I just went to some competitions where I got prizes. Like you mentioned, I was in the semifinals of the Herbie Hancock competition, which I really appreciate. And yeah, right now I'm in New York and trying to do my thing to play. And yeah, we just had actually yesterday a sold out show at Minton's Playhouse with my trio.
That's
It
what's
was it was really
up.
great. Yeah, 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 it was great. We did a huge hang, like after the gig. We stayed up
Yeah.
late. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's awesome, man. I mean, I was looking at your bio, and yeah, I mean, you've been doing your thing for a minute. Uh, I wanted to ask. So it says in 2014 you enrolled at the Church Conservatory in Bratislava, where you were admitted as an extraordinary student to the. Okay, under her leadership. Da, 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 da. Yeah, you did. You've done a lot of these international competitions. Talk to me because like that in and of itself is like a whole lane. You know what I'm saying? Like we all because jazz is like a global music now. People are coming to it like different ways, and so this element, this competition element. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're doing a lot of piano competitions. Like tell me what it's like cutting your teeth and like coming up like in that particular lane.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna because a lot of people ask me about this competition, but
Okay.
uh, I think for me competition is like there is some people or some musicians they really go to the competition to win, like to get the first place, to get the second, to get something. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was more about like this growth, like you growing. Because if you go to competitions, you have to prepare. That means this is good about competitions that you present yourself. You will be seen. You know, you get a promotion, and it really doesn't matter if you win or not at the first
Right.
place. The first thing what I try to do when I go to a competition is to give my best what I can, and this takes preparation, you know, like daily practice, routines, and I think this is for me more the competition to grow, you know, because at
Yes.
the end of the day you don't have anything to lose, just to gain. I
Yeah.
would say, you know.
Wise words, man.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I think, you know. Thank you, man.
Um, yeah. So let's back up a little bit because there's a certain organic thing that I hear in your sound, and whenever you mention the way that Oscar Peterson was swinging, um, talk to me about that. Like, what is it? Talk to me, and whenever it really clicked for me, honestly, when we first spoke, and you told me that Kenny Kirkland was your cat. So it's obvious that you're really into rhythm. Um, but give it to me in your words. Like, what is it that Oscar Peter was doing that caught your attention so strongly?
You know, I would say it was like I think like we are you know, rhythm is king, I think. So this is what I when I heard Oscar, like I never heard that was the first time I heard jazz. I was like, I never heard something, anything swinging rhythmic like that. I didn't know what swing at that time, but I can't really describe in the words what caught my attention so much. But it's something more than just music, you know. It's
Yeah,
I think it's something like a feeling you get, you know.
yeah.
And I think like swing in general and rhythm is it's something maybe you can improve, you can work on it, but you cannot learn it. I would say like
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
swing, you know, you have to really. I don't know really how to put it in words because it's hard.
Yeah,
But
I get what you're saying. Yeah, you're talking about that visceral element. It's and you're right. There is a large component that you do. You just got to understand it. And if you don't understand it, it is hard to explain it to cats that don't understand. I agree. Well, while we're going down that lane, and I'm sorry, did I cut you off? Was there something else you were about to
no,
say?
I'm cool.
Okay. Well, my next question along that same line is talk to me about some of the folk music tradition uh,
Yeah.
of Slovakia and specifically the town that you're from, and how much has that uh, crept into your playing and influenced your concept?
Yeah. So actually, this music is called like it's the gypsy music because I'm a gypsy.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Uh, I come from a family of gypsies, you know, and this music is, I don't know if you heard about it. Brentford once listened to these musicians in Hungary, because
Yes.
this town where I'm from, it's really kind of, it's really very close to Hungary, you know, it's on the Hungarian borders,
Yes.
and my grandfather is Hungarian gypsy.
Okay. Cool.
So you know, they just grew up with this music, and Brentford went there to listen to it. I heard this story, and that when he heard it, that he thought this is one of the biggest music in the world because basically this folk gypsy music, if you are playing hallgato means like you are playing out of time but in time.
Okay.
So that means like the violin player is doing something. There is an instrument called brach. He has to wait with the chord,
Okay.
you know, and he has to listen when to move on. So
Hmm.
it's really something special. It's very hard to put it in words, but it's a music in time, but not really in time. Not,
I
you
really
know.
understand.
So you
Yeah.
know they are playing rubato in time basically, man.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it's really hard, and you have to also listen a lot because there's a lot of diminished chords. You know, you transfer to the diminished chord, and when I was 11, my father with my grandfather, they taught me a little bit this music, and they just played, and I had to listen and get the chord till I didn't get the chord right. They would keep on that chord,
Yeah,
till I did, and then we move on.
that's
This is
cool.
what my grandfather used to do also with my father. Like
Mm.
you have to
Yeah, get the ears, that ear training.
It was a big ear training school, yeah, I would say. But I'm really proud of what I did with the classical music because it gave me like me personally, I think it gave me a lot of abilities, technical abilities, but also like to
Yeah,
understand the music,
yeah,
because I think if you want to know your instrument, like really for real, you should do classical music as a pianist. It's very
yeah,
important. I think a lot of instruments, but as a piano, it's special. So, and from that point, I felt like, okay, I got something, already. Then I moved to jazz music. But as I told you, I listened to it for many many years since I was a child,
yeah.
and I'm very much also into pop music and production. Like
Uh-huh.
yeah. Because my mother was a big fan of Michael Jackson. So I
That's
grew
cool.
up with Michael Jackson.
Yeah, yeah. So that's awesome, man. So yeah, you're very broad and very diverse in your concept. Um, that's incredible, man. I think for all of the young people and who are watching this and who will be watching this in the future, uh, uh, everything you just said is so important for you to be locked into the folk music uh, of your region because those indigenous sounds kind of lay like a framework in you that whenever you start to deal with other musics, uh, the other musics may require more virtuosity, right? But the point of learning your own folk music is so that you can connect with that emotional element, that human element that everybody understands, whether they know the technical components or not.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you in what you were saying about classical music and that being a necessary component um, whenever it comes to getting your technique together. Talk to me about some of the cats who on the classical side that you're into.
Oh yeah, I mean I love a lot of composers, and I love Bela Bartok.
Yeah,
He's a composer.
yeah, come
I
on.
really love the 20th century. The
Okay.
modern classical
Yeah,
music. I'm
yeah,
really
yeah.
into that. Of course, I love also like romanticism and stuff. I played it, but I'm really like into the modern kind of classical music. And I think also Miles Davis was doing a lot of stuff like this. He was listening to Stravinsky.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
also met, I guess. I saw this. I was checking out the
yeah.
interview, but I mean, I try like I try when I practice. Before I practice,
Hmm.
for real, I try to do these finger exercises. Then practice some etude.
Hmm.
And I still try to stick with it because I don't know what it is for me, but it really connects me with the instrument, like really, and then I can just I can just do the stuff what I want easier. So and that's why I did this music because it's just like I said, it's just knowing your instrument really really good, and also like Kenny Kirkland, there is a, I don't know if you saw this documentary like Bring on the Night of Sting.
Hmm. Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
scene
Same.
there's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
scene
yeah,
where he plays in the living room classical music, right?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean a lot of great pianists have done classical music. There's a very
Okay.
good like Herbie Hancock, with the orchestra
Yes.
before he got into the Miles Davis, and yeah, but I think a lot of cats don't do that these days.
Hmm.
I would say.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think let's go ahead. Let's pause there. Let's talk about that. I mean, the thing is this, right? If you're gonna play jazz, you got to understand that jazz is the combination of all of these different cultures. It has its roots in
Yeah,
African American culture, but it's the superimposition of those African American concepts onto European instruments, right? That you got to deal with. And then it's just a lot of like really dope European influences that have come to the music. You mentioned Miles Davis. I mean, Miles Davis loved Gil Evans. He
Yes.
loved Bill Evans. You know what I'm saying? Because, each culture on earth has their strengths whenever it comes to music. And the same way that you cannot deny like the African rhythmic component,
Yeah, the
you
rhythms.
cannot deny the European harmonic component. Like you just gotta be an idiot. So I agree. I think it's necessary to investigate everybody's music, and because everybody has been given something by God to contribute to humanity, and
Yes.
the more well-rounded. That was the biggest thing that I learned being around Brantford is like, yo, you need to know a little bit about everything. You just need to be aware, and it makes you a more well-rounded musician, and you're able to. There's no worse feeling in the world to be in a musical situation where somebody's playing something and you want to respond, but you don't have the data to
Yeah.
respond intelligently with. It's one thing to respond, but you want to respond intelligently. So I agree, man. I think any of the cats who are watching this and you feel like somehow you're gonna have to like you feel like you got a route around classical music, nah, man. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's saying that, you gotta, go join the orchestra or anything, but you you
No, no,
you
no, but you
gotta
should,
be aware.
just from the for pianist for the technical ability because I got my father
Yeah.
showed me this technique, the Russian school of piano playing,
Come
and
on. Yeah.
that's like with the like when you create a sound basically because you just create on piano sound. I think personally just like on trumpet you create a
Yes.
sound or just like on a saxophone, so you really have to have a sound on the piano, and I'm still struggling with it. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's a I think in music you are learning the whole life. There is no end to music, and
Yes.
I don't know how we gonna sound in 10 years, in 5 years. It's like there is no end to it, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Hearing you talk like that, you know, you, you got to be cut from a certain kind of cloth to even be thinking like that, because everybody don't get that. You know what I'm saying? But that's powerful. You're right. This is a lifelong journey. It's one of those things that, and hearing you say that, and I'm not saying this. Um, uh, Please don't hear me the wrong way whenever I say
Of course,
this,
of
but
course.
hearing you say this, as a young person, because how old are you, man? You like
I'm 23.
23? You 23, bruh.
Yes.
Like, to hear you basically talk like you just gave everybody the cheat code, man, and you 23, bro. Like, yeah, I already know how you're gonna sound in 10 years. You're gonna be even more killing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna be even more killing because now that life experience is going to inform all of the technical prowess um
Yes.
that that you're acquiring, man. I just want to say, like, straight up, from the bottom of my heart, man, mad respect to what you're doing. I mean, you're already recording with the masters. I saw the preview for your latest record. Is it Born in
Oh,
Millennium?
oh, born in millennium. Yeah, yeah, man.
Born in Millennium. First off, shout out for that title. I thought that title was
Oh,
cold.
let's see.
And yeah, man. And then I was watching specifically. Obviously, I wanted to see who all was on your record, but I definitely wanted to listen intently to the endorsement that you got from Hutch. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna just keep it hot with you. Being from North Carolina, the thing that I heard that really caught my attention was he said that you and your pops, that y'all got that groid. And so whatever I heard, he was, yeah, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. He was like, this is some real groid swing that y'all are laying down. And what, you were, 21 whenever you recorded that record?
Oh yeah, I was 21, 20 or 21. Yeah, yeah, something
Yeah,
like that.
man. So I mean, to get that type of endorsement is huge because I mean, a cat like that, he not gonna say you sound groid and he be lying. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Like I'm
of course.
telling you as a black
Yeah,
man, right? If
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
say you groid, like yo, you popping, and I mean, I know you already know that. You already have the accolades to to prove that, but just but hearing that really caught my attention because once again, whenever we're talking about this rhythmic component, you've really got to have an understanding of rhythm in order to really swing.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
let's back up a second because you and I had a great conversation at the conference
yeah,
where we were talking about uh, the way that the jam session was was happening,
yeah, yeah.
and we were talking of yeah. So let's get back into that. Talk to me about your feelings on how a jam session should be ran and why it should be ran that way.
Well, I think first of all, it should be serious, you know. Sometimes I'm feeling at the sessions it's not really serious, I would say.
Yes.
But I mean, like here in New York, I'm now in New York, and the sessions are pretty like hold it seriously. I mean, at Smalls, I used to know, I used to hear. I never had a chance to experience the great late Roy Hargrove. I
Hmm.
heard that he was leading the sessions, like,
Yeah.
but he kicked some ass, you know. Like for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
like the piano player who came up and he didn't know the tune, you know.
Hmm.
He would just start to play in different keys, you know, the
Right.
same melody, and just and it's like if you don't know the tune, you are like you can't do anything, you know, about that. So,
Hmm.
but I think this kind of mentorship is missing today. I would
Yes.
say, you know, at the sessions are, and honestly, I would like to get my ass kicked this way because you know I think it's a big school, you know.
Yes.
If you at a jam session, if you but to be honest, I need to learn more standards, you know. I don't know like millions of standards, and I think at a jam session it's important, right, to know all of the standards, I would say. But
Yes.
you know, just at the jam session it should, I think personally, like we should be playing together first of all, you know, like not just soloing for each other.
Yes. Come on,
Sometimes I have
man.
the feeling that you know somebody comes up and plays all the lines, you know, but there is no interaction with the band.
Hmm.
And I think jam session is all about interaction and listening to each other.
Yes.
The best way you can, of course, you know.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
agree. I agree wholeheartedly, man. I think that with those elements that you just listed, what happens is that a standard is set
yeah,
for the music, the level of seriousness, the repertoire, um, and yeah, just the musicianship being at a high level. A standard is set in order to bring out the best in people. Um, I think that, and this kind of ties into your title, the title to your album. Um, and I want to talk about this other record you were telling me you're about to release soon too. But born in millennium. The thing, one of the problems that I've been hearing from a lot of my friends who are now professors, because it's weird. I'll be 40 in October, and
really?
yeah, man,
You look very young. You look very young, man.
I appreciate that, man. And it's weird for me now because I'm at that age where I'm expected to be like an older brother, really like a father in a certain sense to convey what's been given to me.
Yes.
And so in the process of just thinking about these things, one of the things that I've noted is that uh, this younger generation. Now obviously you not like this because you've been around your pop and you talked about the things you learned from your dad and from your grandfather, but people who didn't have that type of structure, and then people who in this generation just have this very contrarian kind of attitude, and really like deconstructionist type mindset where they just
Ah,
want
yeah.
to try to dismantle and argue with all of the things from the past. It's one of the reasons why cats ain't swinging. it's the reason why they sound very immature in their melodic and rhythmic developments. It's because they don't have a respect for what has come before them. And I think also too, and this is something that I've talked with my dad about. My father's in his early 70s. And I was telling him, I was like, man, like, you know, it really dawned on me that there's never gonna come a time in our relationship. I mean, I've known this for years, but I was just telling him at the moment. I was like, there's never gonna come a time in our relationship where I'm ever gonna catch up to you, man. Like you were 33 when I was born. That means you got a 33-year head start
Mm.
on life that I'm just never gonna catch up to. And so I just want to say to you, I recognize that and I honor that and I appreciate that. And so there's just a certain way that I come to my dad to even try to get information that I think that a lot of young people in this generation lack because they just haven't been around that atmosphere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I have to say to you that I'm really like, so my father raised me, like he guided me. I'm really thankful what kind of parents I have because they really try to support me in every possible
it's
way.
beautiful.
Since since I was a child, they not that they wanted me to be a musician, but I wanted to be a musician. and
Uh-huh.
and they supported it. My father raised me musically. My father showed me everything in music. The
Mm,
from the beginnings. He gave me very 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 strong roots.
yeah.
And I know that there is some people that don't have this possibility. That there
Yeah.
are, that they don't have this because some people might not be from a musical family. And it might be harder for them because some people don't want to support, some parents don't want to support their children in music. And I feel
Very
sorry
true.
for that.
Yeah.
And I cannot, to be honest, I cannot imagine this situation.
Yeah.
Like to
Yeah.
be in this situation, it has to be really fucking hard. I'm sorry, excuse
Yeah.
me for my language, but
Uh-huh.
it has to be really hard if you are in a situation where nobody like wants to support you. And I get that.
Hmm.
There is a lot of positions like that, but you know, uh, uh, sometimes I used to listen to the music, like I was just driving when I was 20, 21, and I was in the car. I put on the black coat, man, and it just got so strong to me that I started crying, man. I was
Yeah,
like,
man.
what is this? I was like, the spiritual thing also about the music
Yeah.
is very strong.
Yes.
The
I
spiritual
agree,
thing
man.
about this music is very strong, and this is like if I feel God's presence. When I hear
Hmm.
music like this, I feel God's presence. That God exists, and these musicians who I like, they gave it out to the world through the music.
Hmm.
And I really
Hmm.
appreciate that. And I just when I listen to music that I really like, sometimes it's like that. I just cry.
Uh,
That's it
that's
because I'm really
powerful.
connected to the music.
Yeah. That's powerful, man. I totally agree with you. And I've definitely had those moments. There's a recording on the Ken Burns Jazz compilation, and it's Charlie Parker's version of "Embraceable You." And I
Wow.
remember whenever because that compilation is actually what got me like listening to jazz heavy because I stole it from my dad. My dad had his version.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm joking whenever I say I stole, but yeah, I borrowed his and I'd be listening to it late at night. And man, I just be sitting crying listening to Charlie Parker, man, on that horn. Same thing with Billie Holiday's Solitude. Like it just always brings tears to my eyes because it's just so beautiful. Um, I think I think that it's important for all of us, regardless of what age bracket we're in, to remember that we're all connected. And
yes,
I think that
yes, yes.
yeah, and by remembering that we're all connected, uh, I think that will help young people approach older people right, but then also help older people be a little bit more accessible. Now, I'm leading with that because I want to ask you about what have you learned about the importance of humility um, in
Humility, like
being
being around people, right?
exactly, especially whenever you're around. Because I mean, you know, I was looking at your resume, man. You played with some with some killing cats. You're playing like with masters, and so I want you just to talk a little bit about how important it is to have humility whenever you're dealing with greatness, whenever you're dealing with people that are great and have really made like a major impact on this music.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, that is always my rule, and it will be forever. Like to try to play at the like at the beginnings of your not like career, but I mean, in general, you should play all the time like with better people from you because
You
that's how you learn.
better.
That's how you get better, and you get experience on the stage, and
Yes.
you can get it from the older guys,
Hmm.
and I really feel pleasure that I had the opportunity to work with these masters,
Hmm.
and just I'm just trying to be like natural. Whenever I talk to people, I try to be natural. We are all friends. There is no
Yes.
like. Of course, there is some people that you hang out more with because you just guys are like you are family. You like each other and you hang.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the community, also at the sessions. Sometimes when you go to sessions, then the guys don't really want to talk. It's like, but I don't know why really. It's like everybody's trying to keep a distance.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think that shouldn't happen in jazz. In jazz community, it shouldn't happen.
I
We should all be
agree.
like family. We should all learn from each other, and try to be friends.
I concur. I think that part of that has that camaraderie and that family, that familial element has dissolved because a lot of the older musicians uh, haven't been, I don't know how to say it. It's like, okay, I think what you're describing is a result of jazz being taken out of the environment that it was created in
Yeah,
and being put in an academic setting. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I think we're talking about, I think we're describing one of the cons of the current setup of jazz education, because you're completely right. Whenever you read all of the novels, whenever you kick it with any of the masters, that's one of the things that they talked about. They just talked about the love. Like I remember hearing Jimmy Heath. Um, I mean, he would come to tears when he would talk about his relationship with John Coltrane. You know what I'm saying?
Man, yeah,
All of the masters, and just talking about how, like, when you first, you arrive in the city, how people would embrace you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's like I think it's also a larger reflection, or a reflection of the larger issue just going on in society, period. Because, like, just as a whole, humanity, like, we got to just do better at just being nice to each other, just on a human level. But
yes,
honestly, man, hearing you say these kinds of things, though, uh, and given, you know what the way that you're taking care of things on the instrument, man, I think it's beautiful that people are hearing you, you as an example. And hopefully, what I'm saying, they'll listen to what you're saying, and they'll follow you in this new wave of really trying to do this thing right, man. Because yeah,
yeah. It just can't be like you told, like academic. That's like there is a lot of guys that are or not like academic. It's like when the jazz gets into this point that you're just trying to play with the practicing on the stage basically.
yeah,
I I really I'm not a big fan of this. Yeah, it should be like I feel like the stuff what you practice home, it should come out naturally, you know. But
Exactly. Yeah.
but sometimes it takes long, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes long, you know. But this is
You
the
just.
thing. What's it, you know? That's it.
Mhm.
Sometimes it just takes longer. We can't just try to force something, you know, on the gig. Like, oh, I practice this line, I need to play it right now, you know. It
Right.
should come out naturally.
To come
Everything.
out naturally. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard.
I
It's
think
hard. It's hard, of course.
it is, and it's funny. Brentford has a term for that. Whenever you force what you've been shedding, he calls that a talent attack. He's like, oh yeah, so and so had a talent attack. Yeah,
Talent
you know what I'm saying? You know,
attack.
yeah, talent attack. Yeah, and he describes that as you're playing something just because you can, not because the music required it. You know. So yeah,
But the thing about Brentford, man, you hear all these beautiful lines that's you know, like the stuff what he plays is perfect, but there is still such a spirit behind it
oh yeah,
and such a depth. You know, it's amazing.
oh yeah.
It's like this is the mastery, you know, where the people need to get. It's hard. Yeah.
I agree. And the thing that I love about Branford, while we're talking about him, is that he has been, in fact, all of the Marsalises. They here's what you as a young person watching this video need to take, and you need to maybe hit pause on this video and go look at some of the videos that we're talking about. Branford and Winton and Delphio and Jason,
Yeah.
they have all been very vocal about the clarity that their dad raised them with concerning being able to play. Like Winton was talking about how in the 80s when he was winning all of these Grammys,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
his
yeah.
dad, yeah, how his dad sat him down.
There is a good documentary about it, catching a snake.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
saw it, right?
No,
It's amazing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's saying he's basically saying he's like his dad just kept him grounded because he asked him, he was like, you do understand that these Grammys don't mean you can play yet,
Yes.
right? You do get that. And that's that type of clarity kept him as a 18, 19-year-old kid winning Grammys for like best jazz album and best classical album. Well, I think he was in his early 20s at that point. But it kept him grounded. And the thing that we can learn from them is what you were just describing. It's like recognizing that, being honest with yourself about where you're at and recognizing where you're at in the process of constantly pursuing getting better.
Yeah.
Because Branford, the thing that I love about Branford is he's very honest about where he's at now in comparison to where he was, when he was a kid. Like he's very honest about like, nah, I won't really playing nothing, nah, I was sad, and people don't. I think I would love to hear your thoughts on this. People don't really. I don't think that there is enough dialogue about having a balance of like critiquing yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because so I think one of the reasons why young kids sometimes are so hesitant to approach older musicians is because they don't understand that the direct critique about a deficiency in their playing is actually love.
It's
It isn't
love.
hatred.
It's nothing else. It's love. Because all the time when some older guy comes to you, but you can. For me, it was like all the older guys that came to me and said, "Hey, you have to do this, you have to do this." I took it like really, for real. I didn't get offended. A lot of kids that get offended, man.
That's it. Yeah, it's a lot of offense, and I ain't gonna front. I was one of them, man. Like Brentford had to straighten me out, and other cats, like other older cats, like they break it down. It's just like, listen, man, you too sensitive, man. You gotta get a tough skin. You gotta get a thicker skin because number one, everybody ain't gonna have something nice to say to you, and then number two, you should be able to recognize if somebody's saying something to you to destroy you or if they're
Yes.
saying something to you because
Yes.
they're trying to make you better. But I'll say this: uh, one of the things that I've learned is that all you can actually use all of the critiques to your advantage, because even if let's say that somebody completely hates your guts, well, there's a certain honesty that they're going to come to you about concerning your deficiencies that you're not going to get from your best friend. Somebody that don't like you, they can help you get better because they're going to get straight to the thing that you're doing wrong, and they're going to say it in a way that is so direct and so clear that it's actually beneficial. Um, Talk to me about some of the critique that you've received over the years and how that's helped you.
Oh man. Phew, let me think now. Let me think. Phew, I have to really think right now.
That's cool.
I'm
That's
sorry.
cool.
Let me think. I mean, I certainly for sure got some critics. Like well, the biggest critics I got was from my dad.
That's real.
The biggest critics I got, and I took them. I listened to him. Like
Hmm.
don't do that. And I listened to him. And especially it's weird because in the family situation, it's like you can get offended very fast. Like
Hmm.
this.
Hmm.
But I always try to take it with love because at the end of the day, I always felt that there is love behind it, always, and that's why I'm standing right here right now because I took all of the critics of my father. You know,
Yeah.
Sometimes I didn't listen to him, but most of the time, yes.
There you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
And the thing
if
is,
you try to tell to somebody these days, like, hey man, next time can you do this? Can you do this? But it's not really. I really don't want to do it because I know that these people are gonna get offended. Like at the
mhm,
jam session. If you
right?
try to if you
Yeah,
try to talk to somebody, they get offended.
yeah, yeah. You're
But it's
right, man.
I got my ass kicked a lot of times also at the jam session.
Yeah,
I can remember especially right now, but because it's late, I can't remember. But
mhm,
but I know there has been a situations where you just have to take it, and you just have to say thank you for the effort, and I will try to do my best.
that's
I
it,
will,
man.
I will try to work on it. But there is sometimes the people you have to, like Brentford told you, right? You have to recognize if there is somebody who wants to give you something or destroy you.
Exactly.
Because there are some people that are like they want to really destroy, and then if you realize that, then you have to defend yourself, of course.
Exactly. Yeah, have balance. You're completely right. Um, Man, I want to. I want to. I really want to thank you, man, for sitting down with me.
Thank you so much
For a few minutes.
for your inputs on this the conversation, man. I really appreciate it, man.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me ask you this. I always try to ask cats this on air. Would you like to sit down for another interview?
Of course, man.
All
Of course.
right.
Yeah, man.
That's what's up. So yeah, man, we gonna put it on the books because the stuff that you playing, man, I really want to hear you talk more about what you've learned from different cats.
Oh
Because
yeah, yeah.
what's dope about what you're playing, and I mean I certainly hear the Oscar, because I mean your dexterity is off the chain. But I want to I would like to in our next conversation like hear more of what you've gleaned from different master pianists
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
how
yeah.
you've incorporated that into your into what you're doing. Um,
Of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Definitely. Well,
Maybe
man.
maybe I can just mention that I like we talked about. I'm trying to release my album with Jeff Watts on drums and
Yeah, yeah.
Bob Hurst. Yeah, it's like my dream. It's like I have to play with this kid. It's like I really have so much love for them. It's
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I'm currently running. Maybe we could also promote it in the next interview. I'm currently running the GoFundMe, to get the album done because right now, we are struggling. My father is a freelance musician.
Mm-hmm.
Mother is she has a disease that doesn't allow her to work. Unfortunately,
Okay.
and I'm trying to raise some money for the album. Maybe for some people who are watching, I would really appreciate if you would be so nice and maybe check out my campaign at GoFundMe and maybe share it among some people that that might be able to support it with any kind of amount, also little amounts, and I would really deeply appreciate that if this would happen.
Definitely, man. I'm looking for your I'm seeing it on Facebook, correct?
Yeah, it's
I'm looking at
on
your
Facebook, yeah.
yeah, and yeah, so boom. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna post it and
Thank you so much, brother.
definitely yeah, man. Yeah, it's all love, man. This is we all we got, man, and definitely, man. Um I think I think it's amazing what you're doing and I'm excited to hear it um hit all of us upside the head. How did you even connect with Bob Hurst and Tain, man? Like, because I mean, we're not about to act like that's just like a small thing. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was like I tried to. It was like 1 year of work. I tried to get in touch with Bob, and with Tain, but eventually I got it, and it's hard, you have to, if you really want something, and this is since I was a child. This is one of my characteristics, and since I was a child, even when I was 5, and I saw a Spider-Man or something, I
hmm
just wanted it. Hey, mama, please, I want this, and till they didn't buy it to me, I didn't, like let go. So
uh,
I'm trying to do this also with music, and I have really big respect for music and for these musicians especially because they are my biggest heroes.
yes,
Tain and Hurst, and I was trying to just get in touch with them. Eventually, it happened, and we played at Lincoln Center Theater as part of the Oneness Festival, and we performed my new tunes. And I asked them at the place if they would be up to record an album, and they said yes, and I was really happy. So right now I'm preparing, and then I hope I can make it happen very soon.
well, yeah, man, it's gonna be fly. For everybody watching, I just posted the link from Facebook in the comment section, and I encourage everybody to go and to contribute to the campaign, and then also be on the lookout for it whenever it drops, because that's gonna be crazy, man. Like hooking up with that particular that the quarter note that Bob Hurst and Tain put together. That's something serious.
It's
Talk to me
unbelievable.
about playing with them. Like what is it? You know what I mean? What is it like hooking up over top of that quarter note?
Oh man, it was unbelievable, really. And I'm really happy that it really got together so well, the music. It was like
Mhm.
we had a rehearsal and the moment was there, I felt really good with them. And just the chemistry worked. And man, to hear like Jeff swinging in my ear, it was unbelievable. I felt at certain point I just didn't think about anything. I played the music. I tried to play my heart out, and
Hmm. Hmm.
because I think we got into some, like I felt very very big support, like really really big support, and I really appreciate it that I had a chance to do this with them. It was something that it's very hard to describe in words.
Hmm.
It was a special moment for me.
I dig. That's powerful, man. Well, I'm super excited to hear the project. I'm super excited to keep following everything that you're doing. I encourage everybody to follow your Instagram page. And I remember, you know, us talking earlier about, like the length of the interview, but once again, man, thank you so much for joining me for this short amount of time, and also, your flexibility. And I'm looking forward to sitting down with you again, man. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Me too, man. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Yeah,
brother. Thank you very much.
yes, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I reckon that'll be it for tonight. Make sure that you follow Brother Allen on all his social media platforms, and we'll be talking to y'all soon. Y'all keep swinging. All right now.